Hey, Gail, thank you for moderating. Hey, Rico, thank you for moderating. I'm back. I just came out the tumblers machine. Lord, I just came out of, hey, John John, just came up out of the tumbling machine. Really? Hey, Ariana, thank you for coming by. Thank you, Gail, for moderating. Thank you, Rico, for moderating. Hey, Warren, how you doing? I just been in this mood. You know what I mean? Hey, look, I done got old. It's time for me to talk to you all about the tales of the old South. You understand? Everybody needs to hear about the tales of the old South. We cannot forget. If you forget, you are bound to repeat yourself. You know? That's one of my favorites. I love them. I love them. I love them. I love them. Those are the Georgia Sea Islanders from Georgia and South Carolina. So let's see what they got. I know they're gonna mess with this live stream because this stuff is copyrighted for sure.
Oh, death in the morning, oh, death in the morning, spread me over and another year. Well, death walks up to the Santa's gate. The believe you have waited now a little too late. You
John
feel
John, my
not
number is two zero five two six five
102.
zero three
Have
nine
another
one.
chance if you ever put through the cried,
Oh,
oh, death. Crying, oh, death in the morning, oh, death. Just spare me over in another year. Hey, what is this I
hey Candace, how are
see?
you?
Cold
Glad to see
icy
you here.
hands all over me. You say I am death, no one can excel. I opened the doors of death and hell. He cried, Lord, death. Now, oh, death in the morning, oh, death, just spare me over in another year. No, you heard God people sing and pray. You would not heed, you just walked away. You would not even bend your knee. Now you got to come and go with me. They cried, Lord, death. Now, death in the morning, oh, death, just spare me over another year. Well, I'm gonna fix your feet so you cannot walk. Fix your tongue where you cannot talk. Close your eyes and you cannot see. And you got to come and go with me. You cried, Lord, death. Now,
This
oh,
music
death in the
conjures y'all.
morning.
It
Oh,
conjures.
death. Death spare me over another year's. Well,
There are
death consider
spirits
my
in this
age
music.
and do not take me in this state, because all of my wealth is at your command. If you just move your cold icy hand, you cry, no, no. Now, oh, death in the morning, no, no. Lord, spare me over in another year.
Ooh, that right there is powerful, ain't it, y'all? Okay, for all of you all who want to hear more, that is one of the singers in the Georgia Sea Islanders, okay, which is close to South Carolina. Okay, right there on the line. So, once again, for those who haven't heard me, I announced on my Mother Wisdom Tree channel that I am now on Patreon. Okay, so, for people who were wondering where I am or where I've been actually revamping the place. You understand what I mean? Bringing life to a ghost town. Once again, for those who haven't heard me, I had abandoned it in 2023. It was just so much going on. I just couldn't keep up with it. I was definitely ignoring spirit because spirit was saying, "Hey, it's time to, to concentrate on this place. People are actually paying for this." And I was just like stuck, you understand, and disobedient. I have noticed that when you are obedient to the sacred spirits, the sacred ones, you understand, they will greatly improve your life. You understand? Now, if you say that you are a spiritual person, once you've announced that, it's a certain walk you have to walk, okay? You cannot walk crooked and expect, you understand, for those spirits to hold you in high regard and give you the things that you want and you need. So it's just a certain type of conduct that you must have in order to have the mercy of God and the mercy of spirits. In other words, your karmic debt has to be cleared. Now, don't get me wrong, I got some karmic debt out there. Okay, so if I was just sitting here saying, hey, I'm good over here, I wouldn't be being honest. But each day of our lives and on our journey, we should be working on our karmic debt. Hmm? These are things that must be paid off. And a lot of people wonder, how do you pay it off? You should just practice what you preach, number one. You understand? You should analyze yourself. Go and have a retrospective look within inside of yourself. Stop looking on the outside of you through people and look at yourself in the mirror. I did say that everyone we meet is the mirror. Okay? But we got to first look at our reflection in the mirror. And each day we say, what can I change? What is it that I can do to make me a better me? Saying not what can I change outside of myself, but what can I change within? Because once the change has been focused on within, you understand, everything around you will change. It took me these many years to figure this out, and it has been tried and true. I've seen the results. You see what I mean? I've seen it for myself. So I'm a living testimony, you understand? That if you follow these steps, hey, check this out. You can make your life so much more comfortable. I'm not saying it's going to be a bed of roses, but we just can't be going out here disappointing people. Hey, I'm going to be here. Don't show up. I'm going to do this for you. Don't do it. Understand? So I had a little situation today that I couldn't that was a misunderstanding. So I, made it really, you know what I mean? Straightforward to the individual. They told me, hey, look, I'm coming through Alabama and I'm going to such and such place, which is 2 hours from here. I said, oh, okay, okay, go ahead, take your time and go, because it's been raining or what have you. And then they said, oh, but I wanted to come by and visit you after I leave there. And I said, okay, well, we could probably talk it over and probably, meet up in Prattville, or something like that. But I'm not going to be at the temple for a minute. You know what I mean? And so look, I get a call an hour later. Oh, I'm here in Prattville, so it kind of threw things off, and I'm like, oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. I thought you was on your way to such and such, which is 2 hours away first. Thought you was gonna do that first. You know what I mean? I know you made a huge long trip, but something like that, I need to know ahead of time. So when you have misunderstandings like that, it's very important that you talk it out, rectify it, and let the person know, you understand? Because if you ignore things and thinking they're going to go away, they're not going to go away if you don't straighten these things out. Well, all they're going to do is follow you. The universe will send another person to you with the same scenario to see how you're going to handle it. And if you continue to handle it in the wrong way, then you're going to have things like this occurring quite often till it leads to frustration. You see what I mean? So you definitely don't want people to think it is okay to abuse you. You know, that must be dealt with. You understand? So if you have people constantly abusing you, you know, it's something you got to stop and figure out, you know, because our enemies show our reflect our insecurities on us. Did y'all know that? Our enemies, you understand, project our projections onto us. So we're dealing with an enemy, and the enemy has these many things going on with them. 9 times out of 10, these are some of your triggers, some things that you're either not dealing with in your own waking life. You see what I mean? Or some things that just definitely, you understand, have just not gotten under control or in check. See what I mean? So, you know, we definitely want to focus on that. Now, I'm not saying we're not going to go to war because we do need these mojo bags fed with the blood of the lamb. And we definitely need our charms charged up, triggered, and ready to fire. You understand what I mean? I'm not saying that you're just going to go through the tumbling machine and just let folks just beat you up and abuse you. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying is this: what you want to do, you want to address any triggers. Number one, okay, you want to get those out of the way. You definitely want to address your enemies. Addressing your enemies is looking at what's going on in you, that you're internalizing this and continuously bringing these particular situations to you with these type circumstances. It starts with you. When I'm dealing with clientele that comes to me and they say they're really just having a difficult time with a boatload of people, then it is time that we focus on what's going on with you. The first thing I want to ask, what did you do wrong? There's a client that I had to turn down. Okay. She was telling me she was dealing with some excruciating pain all over her body, and her body was actually shrinking. Now, I'm not giving out no names, so it's okay for me to talk about this. And she lost some inches, you know, with this, because what this entity was doing was actually, you know, crushing her. You see what I mean? And I found out some things about her. I was like, okay, come on, let's do this. And then I started having these crushing pains in my right leg, and Mama was getting to the point she was having a difficult time walking. I was like, God damn! I mean, the pain hit you so hard, you be about to fall to the floor. You know, and I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. And then I started noticing that some of the things that I told her to do, you understand what I mean? She wasn't doing it. She was not following through with instructions. And that's when I if I got somebody who's not following through with instructions, then I'm going to say you're the problem. And you are to suffer until you fix it. I have found myself having to tell people, I can't help you because you did something wrong and you got to go and straighten it out. So as a practitioner, you definitely want to make sure that the people that you are extenuating yourself to have addressed these issues that they are dealing with, because like sometimes, you know, the universe, like people fall, you know what I mean? The universe wants you to back up and allow this person to learn how to stand up on their own 2 feet. So sometimes when we run into a situation, you understand, without doing the analysis on the situation, and we decide that we want to just roll up our sleeves, give a helping hand, we may be irritating progress. Does that make sense? So you definitely don't want to do that, because now the lesson that the person was to learn is now the lesson you have to learn. I never will forget, I was in a Asian restaurant, Chinese restaurant, right, one of those little hole in the walls where they said shrimp fried rice and 6 chicken wings. Y'all know those places. And it was this girl. She came in there complaining about her food, and she was upset and belligerent, and he didn't want to give her money back. So I said, "Huh, baby, get this money and just go and get out of here." And then when I did that, I say the very next day I had a situation in an automobile parts place, and I began to have a lot of trouble. And I was like, "Where's this coming from?" You see what I mean? And then the people was just like, ready to call the cops on me because I was unsatisfied with a product. I got a part that did not fit my car. They didn't want to give me my money back. I found myself in the position she was in. And at that moment, I realized no good deed goes unpunished, which is Oscar Wilde's famous quote. And I also realized that I didn't know her well enough, you understand, to be the good Samaritan for her. Maybe this is something she does all the time. You know what I mean? Cut up, and this was her lesson. Well, I had to learn the lesson, and it took me a long time to get out from under that jinx, because I had jinxed myself, stepping in. So that's why when I see people, my mom always told me, she said, when you see a nigga down, let him stay down. And I didn't understand what that meant. But I finally figured out basically what she's saying is let them stay down until they figure out their problem. Now, when the person does not figure out what's got them down, more than likely now we're dealing with a mental illness. You understand? Now, in them circumstances, you allow to, if this your loved one, go ahead and grab them, get them up on their feet. You know what I mean? Take them in, get them off the street, whatever. If it's a loved one, but if it's just a complete stranger, I hate to say it, be very careful. You understand what I mean? Universe mate, like I say, you don't want to step in the walkway of the universe, the all. Allow them to handle it. I'm not saying you can't give a little donation or token here, token there. But if you're gonna put yourself in a position where you're gonna just swoop up like Archangel Michael and just say, "Oh, fly on my wings, I have you, and I have my sword drawn." Look, you're definitely gonna face some consequences. You're definitely jinxing yourself, and you're tarnishing what? Your karma. hmm So, yes, on my journey, you understand, clients come to me. I want to know what you did wrong. Now, if you can come in and you can confess, hello, if you can, if you're seeking atonement, you understand, and you're acknowledging you're wrong, and you're coming as humble as possible, okay, let's sit down and talk. But if you coming in the door and you know done well what you did, and you're gonna tell me, "Hey, look, I ain't did that wrong. Good, I'm good, I'm good." You understand? You got to be able to discern whether these people being honest with you or not. You understand? Because you don't want to be debilitated around here. Some of these folks will have you debilitated. Like I noticed that there are quite a few practitioners here on social media that are just going on to the other side. Y'all know what that means. They're over there with the ancestors, pretty young, 30s, 40s, and 50s and 60s. I'm concerned. So this is not what I'm into. It's not for the faint of heart. It's not for those who are not protected, and it's not for those who have not been called. Now, in a lot of situations, we got people who see this as a money grab, and they're just here. You understand? They trying to be different. I'm different too. You know, folks used to do me wrong in school, and I'm this spiritual person or what have you. Now, it's okay if this is where you going, you feel this in your heart and your mind, and this is what you feel like you're called to do. But there are certain things, okay, that you can't touch if you are not protected. Hmm? There's some people that are going out on the limb and they're running their mouths as if though they got the Navy behind them. You see what I mean? The Marine and the Army and all of that behind 'em. the National Guard, or what have you. And they ain't got nothing but one little angel. When you get in a situation like this, you got to mind who you offend. You got, and I'm not talking about just individuals and people, I'm talking about forces. They will crush you. We have to be mindful of who we call on. I'm calling on this to do this and that to do that, or what have you. We must always know no information and no help from the spirit realm is free. It's not free. These dark, shrouded mysteries come with a price. This is why I try to make sure I have blood sacrifices. So you definitely want to follow my blood series on Patreon. Okay, my Patreon is my Mother Wisdom Tree. You can find me on Patreon. Once again, free membership that's there. And then you got paid members. So most of the work is going to the paid members. Like I said, anywhere from $1 to $5. Okay, $5 is the average payment in there, but it's a monthly reoccurring payment. And we go depth on the blood series and the importance of no one should be calling on any forces, volatile forces. Let's talk about that. Unless they are doing blood rights. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm a little bit behind on mine because I like to be real honest. You know what I mean? So I got blood rights coming soon. I thought I was gonna have blood rituals last Saturday, but I didn't. I went out and I met my biological family. My biological father's family is what I did. So I didn't get a chance to do it. And my client and everything worked late, so we didn't do it. Don't call on volatile spirits or forces, okay? If you don't have blood to feed them. Now, what I was doing, at one time I would tell the clients, okay, you can get blood from a store, a grocery store. That's not what they want. That's mock blood. What they want is fresh, hot, solar energy from that blood. It must be a live sacrifice. There is no way around that because the blood you're getting in the store is dead. There's no life in that. Oh, you can make blood patties with it or what have you, but do not think that that is going to be a substitute. You see what I mean? You call on volatile forces, they may want more than what you are willing to give. Hmm? Some of them want life forces of you know who, PPL. And they don't just want anybody. I hear people saying, well, I just offer up one of my enemies. It does not work that way. They want someone that you truly love. It's usually something that you can't give up. And see, I struggle with that sometimes because, like, it's hard for me to give up my chickens and my roosters because they're my pets. So I have a tendency to go out and get them. But sometimes they demand what you fed. That's why I say if you're gonna go out and get an animal or what have you, keep them with you for a period of time and feed them. Give them the best you can give them, the most. Form that relationship, spiritual relationship with this. You understand? And then it's like giving up a sacrifice. It's not a sacrifice when you just go and get a random bird or a goat or a random lamb and just that's not a sacrifice. It's when you are building a rapport with the spirit in that. Okay, so anyways, I'm gonna stop here, but that gives you an idea of where I am going, you understand, with my Patreon. Mm? Also, for people who may be just coming in, you all need to know I also have a Spotify. Okay, you can go to Spotify and see me. You look over there where it says more. Click on the video on my video where it says more, MORE. Click on it, and you'll see the URL into my Spotify. I'm so excited about it. There I will be documenting a character who is a root worker here in Alabama. She's going to be telling the tales of what she's experienced as a root worker. I cannot wait. I love that sound quality, like I said on the last video. I go back and listen to myself talk and just go to sleep. But I think I want to get real elaborate with it because I want to have the sound effects and everything. Like if it's raining, I want you to hear the rain, the thunder, the downpour. So I'm going to be researching how I can just really bring it. Hello? When the door opens and you hear that, that squeak, you know what I mean? Slamming the door, footstep. That's where we going with that. To give you all the most amazing experience. How about that? Okay, so I'm in the chat. Hey, venerated Oracle, how you doing? Hey, I am God. Where you been? I guess you've been like me. Wonder where I'm at. Oh, okay. You said Ariana sings. How you doing? She said, "What do you think about Annabelle missing?" Annabelle is missing. I didn't know that. Tell me more about that. Yeah, come on, talk to us, Ariana. I don't even know about it. Tell us more. I need to look that up. I am God says you got to stay protected at all costs. I am challenging every last one of you, spiritual beings, chosen ones, to get you a Mojo bag. Even if you don't purchase one from me, get you a Mojo bag. You may decide you want to make your own. Make your own. Carry it with you. Hello? We're going to change our lives for the better. The more of us that have these Mojo bags, you understand, we're building a spiritual army. We are becoming each other's allies. Hello? We got to unify and stop arguing and fighting. One person trying to prove that they know more than the others. And this is what keeps us struggling. You understand? We need unity because a house divided will what? It will fall. It's time for some unity here. I'm challenging every last one of you to go out and get a charm. Yes, I do make charms, but if you can't get my charm, go to Etsy and get you a charm. You need to carry it. You don't want to be calling mama later on and say, hey, mama, such and such happened. I want to tell y'all some stories about these charms. I had, and I'm telling you something, they're not for the faint of heart. And you got to be careful what you ask for. I had one person to get a charm because they were having trouble on the job. You know what I mean? One of the supervisors was picking on them, and so he went to the head manager and expressed grievance like he should have, and then the chain of commands go up from there. And the actual manager was not necessarily hearing it. Just do what he tell you to do, and you won't have no troubles or what have you. Okay. Mind you, my client had that charm, kept it in a backpack with him at all times to kind of like diffuse what this supervisor's trying to do is escalate a problem so you have a way to get rid of my client. So what happened since the manager wouldn't do anything about it? The entire roof collapsed at the facility. Some people probably say, it's just a coincidence or what have you. I don't believe in coincidence. I believe in divine order. Hmm? And that's what happened. The charm took the roof down. When the charm took the roof down, who got in trouble? The manager got in trouble because he was, responsible for all inspections and stuff like that. So they were so pissed because it's going to cost them $1 million to fix it. I'm not saying that if it's right or it's wrong what the person went through, but the person wind up losing their position. The charm just said, okay, so if you're not going to do nothing, then I'm just going to put you in a position where you're going to lose your job. So that's what happened. So the person that was picking on this individual is now no longer over the department. And that individual has moved up to another department, rendering my client not to have any more trouble anymore. And then my client is going to be moving to another position too. Isn't that beautiful how that worked out? So like I said, when you get these charms and stuff like that, expect to be mystified beyond belief. Okay? And know that you got the real deal when you get it from Root Dr. Davis, and that's me. So a lot of people are wondering, oh, why did you choose the name Root Dr. Davis? I already told you all that. But if anybody want to hear it again, just press one. We'll go through it again. But I want to save y'all some time. Okay. Anybody got any questions? It's just like starting all over from scratch. I've been gone so long. Hey, Radiation Wizard, how you doing? Okay. Radiation Wizard said, hello, Mother Wisdom. I tried to join your Patreon monthly subscription, but you can't on all tiers. What do you mean? Hmm? Just join the $5 tier. Hmm. Join the $5. I just had somebody to join yesterday. Hey, Anasa, how you doing? Okay. Hey, Chastain Stone, how you doing? Thank you for moderating. Oh, she said, don't leave yet. It makes me feel good to know that y'all still want to hear this old woman talk. People like, oh, you ain't old. Hey, y'all, I want to just tell y'all something, okay? Well, I found my biological father. And I told some people, perhaps one of you remember me telling y'all. Was anybody in here when I talked about him? Press one if you already heard it. If not, there's all the reason to talk about him. All Ariana said they lost her traveling to DC during the tour. That's the word out here. Well, somebody finna get their ass whooped. That's all I know. You know what I mean? Maybe it's a good storyline to make it seem like okay to get some publicity from it, or maybe sure enough somebody was stupid enough to get it, and so I heard the lady, she's talking about the doll and it was locked up in a case. And she said, don't touch it. And if you touch it, let me know. And I think they better listen to her because like she was giving a lot of blood to most of those statues she had there. And the blood makes them come alive. Hmm. If you give blood to any inanimate object, it is going to come to life. Your Mojo blood bags, all of that, especially is done consistently because certain forces and spirits thirsting behind blood. That's why when women are on their menstruations, there are a set of rules that they must follow. You don't walk under trees. You don't wear perfumes because you can easily fall into possession. This is when we get into our PMSs and different little things of that nature will have you very weak at that time because you're shedding. And hey, look, I wouldn't want to be whoever that is messing with that. Even if people think it's not real, I mean, it is real because they have put so much energy into that storyline about that doll. until it's very much alive. Hmm. Well, that is an interesting story. Candace says, does the Mojo bag have to be created with a volatile spirit or no? It depends on what situation you're in and like what you're trying to conjure. You understand? It's all about that. They're nothing but conjure bags. See what I mean? Conjure is real. Conjure is real. I have experienced it firsthand. I've conjured and seen my lights flicker and go off and on because there was a force that wanted to negotiate some things, and you have to be careful because they are so much more smarter than we are because their age is beyond ancient. Their creation is before the word time. So most of them will trick you. So you gotta be you gotta discern. And every single deal they do with you, there is hooks in it. This is why when you see so many people make a deal with these forces and stuff like that because they want to be famous, they want to be able to sing with the most beautifulest voice, and they want to play these instruments. You know what I mean? Rap music or what have you. Then most of them suffer some tragic lives. Tragic lives, maybe lives of suffering, going flat broke, being homeless. I heard about the story about the lady who was in Vogue. I don't know if she's off the street or now not, but she's just practically homeless. Anybody can become homeless. I'm not trying to say, oh, she's homeless because she knows she didn't play her cards right. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying in some circumstances, when you're making deals with these forces, you don't necessarily know what you're getting into because you just want the thing. It comes with a costly price. All of it does. All of it. Every artist out there that's singing, you understand, got a lean on their soul. Lein. Not leaning on their soul, but they have a that lean on their soul. Hmm? That's why I had to step back a minute and analyze myself and say, hey, wait. Now, all of this is coming to me, this wisdom and all these different things I'm sharing with everybody. And I said to myself, oh, Lord, it's a cause. All this is a cause. What am I going to do to pay them back? This is why a lot of people choose their lives to be quiet and just drift through their journey and keep everything to themselves. And the ones of us that do come out and we begin to speak and to teach, we become living sacrifices. I know all too well because press one of y'all heard the story about the lady who's a spiritualist out there that just they found her remains. She's gone, but I can't call her name. Press one. Okay, so now we got on a whole nother story. Let me go back. Let me go back because I had asked a question. Okay, Chastain says she kind of remembered, but she forgot. Okay, Radiation Wizard said it won't let me. It says they sold out so you can pay for any of the tiers. I don't understand that. That's probably why I'm seeing very few people coming there because there might be some other people going through that too. I'm not sure what they mean when they say it they sold out. Do you have the app downloaded? Did you download the app? That's crazy. So it won't let you buy any tier? Wow. Okay, Candace said you have to click on a video and it offers you a $5 option. Did you do that? Thank you, Candace. Thank you, Ariana. Let's get back into that. Okay, press one if y'all heard me talk about the story of my biological dad. Press one, and then I'm gonna put. I'm thinking about it. I was thinking about putting this picture up there, putting it online. Ain't no don't nobody remember me talking about him. Gail remembers. Okay, okay. Gail remembers. Okay, press two if you all want me to talk about it, or if you don't, then nobody will press two. Okay, Gail, I'm glad you like to see it. I'm gonna put it up. Hey, Migdala, how you doing? Migdalia, how are you? Okay, Ariana and Magdalia wants to hear it. Nobody else wants to hear the story? Candace want to hear it. Let's talk. So y'all know I've been on YouTube for a minute, okay? And Auntie told me your daddy was a foreigner. He was African man, okay? Auntie also gave me um his family's phone number because they live in Detroit. Okay. So I, got a chance to talk to his family, this African guy's family. Mind you, it was a person that I never got a chance to speak to. Okay, never got a chance to speak to him. But what it turned out to be, it turned out to be some of the other family members from Liberia, okay? So Auntie said, I don't know, they could tell you who your dad is or what have you, okay? So, for a period of time, I said early 2000, I dealt with this family. They were from Liberia. They invited me to numerous family reunions. And oh God, it was too costly for us to go to New York. But this is where some of the reunions were up north or what have you. So I formed a relationship with one in particular. It was an African man named such. I ain't gonna say his name or what have you. But he was a cousin, and he was a doctor and everything. And I became so fascinated with these people. Okay. And y'all know I always claim the portion of me, my Liberian heritage, because of it. Because, we talking about from 2000 all the way up until this happened to me. Listen. So I said, I'm just not getting anywhere with this story. I mean, Auntie got me interacting with these people, but yet and still they don't know nothing about what she talking about. Nobody knows anything about this. Mom never said anything much about the dad. She was hush hush about it. And then she vanished. She don't want to talk about it no more. I'm talking about my biological mom. Very sensitive. I don't want to talk about it anymore. Okay. So I went to the records and stuff, and the records said, the social worker said that my dad was a builder. Okay. He claimed me. They wouldn't let me know her name, wouldn't let me know his name. I eventually found her name because I had to petition the court to find her name. You know what I mean? So I petitioned the court. They gave me her name, but they still wouldn't give me his name. That's fine. I'm going to Ancestry so I can find out who my family is. And hopefully I find my biological dad. Okay, so boom, 2 years ago, there was a man in there and it says, he's your first cousin. I said, wow, that means his daddy and my daddy's got to be brothers. I said, now we're getting somewhere. We're cooking with grease. I called him up and he said, I don't know who my daddy is. Well, he told me what his mom said his dad name was, but he couldn't locate the man nowhere. Okay. So I didn't necessarily want to believe him. You understand? I felt like what I was told was more accurate. So I wanted to roll with that. And I was trying to convince him that his dad was associated with this dad that was this African guy that was given to me. Yet and still, what was strange and odd about it, I never saw any African people on my profile. Like, where's my African family? I didn't see any locals, and you know what I mean? No weird, strange last names. I said these names look all English. He was trying to say, okay, I don't know what you're gonna roll with, but I gotta roll with what my mama said. I gotta find this man because this is who he is. This thing went on for 2 years. Finally, a young lady pops up on my profile and says, I'm her aunt. I was like, what? Oh, wow. Look like we finna get somewhere for real, for real. And I said, this was about a good 3 months ago. And we were trying to reach out to her. She talked briefly to him. She didn't say nothing to me. She wouldn't even acknowledge me. I said, okay. And then she shut down. I went and talked to him. I said, this is going to be tough because we cannot get her to talk. I said, if only she could talk, we could figure this out. Finally, a genealogist wanted to help. Okay. And so she pulled the tree down and she shook it. When she shook that tree, bam, his daddy fell out of it and mine did too. I get this text from this first cousin that says, you're going to want to sit down for this. And I didn't realize getting news like that is like getting news that somebody died. I ain't lying. It really was. So that's why y'all ain't been seeing me because like it was real heavy on my heart. I almost thought I was going to have to go to the emergency room. My heart was beating real, real fast. I was weak and all that after I got the news because I hadn't accepted a whole situation, you know? So they sent me, they said, your daddy name is this, that, and the other. And I said, what? He said, I'm going to send you pictures of your father. I get these pictures. I look at this man. I said, oh my God, I look like this man. This is him. I was speechless. I wish I could find a way to upload his picture. Well, anybody know how you can upload a picture while you doing a live stream? And so I'm gonna make sure that I probably post it on the post or what have you. And so I said, oh my goodness, it was an obituary, y'all. They sent me an obituary. I almost passed out because the whole time I thought the man was alive. I said, oh no, he died before I can meet him. So that was grief. So everybody started reaching out to me. All these people on that side of that family, they were treating me as if though they really wanted something to do with me. And I was shocked. I said, that couldn't be true. These people, why are these people so kind to me? What is going on? I get suspicious, when like strangers just come out and want to donate their time and when it comes to me, because I never experienced that. So I experienced that as to be something to be suspicious of. And so it was like all of a sudden you're ours. I'm like, no, that couldn't be true. I didn't get that from my mom's side of the family. I didn't get that from my adopted family. Something is wrong with this. So I just randomly found that niece's mother's name on social media. And it showed me pictures of her. And it also gave me her phone number. So I called her. I said, hello, such and such and such. Is your name such and such and such? She said, real dry. Yeah. I said, guess what? I'm your sister. She says, couldn't be. Ain't no way. I said, yes, I'm your daddy's daughter. How? I said, because I went and did an ancestry and it says your daughter is my niece. She calls her daughter up. Hey, such and such and such. This woman says she's your auntie. She said, yeah, mom, she is. She's my auntie. Hey, auntie. She's on my profile, mama. How she look? She looks similar to you. I want to see a picture. I said, hang on. Let me get you a picture. I had my little space glasses on. All I see is a lady with some glasses on. I said, okay, let me show you my eyes. I took the glasses off. She didn't say nothing. She come out and says, my daddy. Only thing about him, he was abusive to my mama. He was abusive to my mama. He had so much rage in him. He fought my mama. I said, oh, I'm so sorry. Now that had my heart heavy. I was hurting in my chest. This was physical. This is why y'all hadn't been seeing me because there was some more grief I had to deal with. She said, yeah. I said, I do apologize. It's not your fault. She says, it's not your fault. I said, I wish there was something I could do. She said, don't worry about it. There's nothing you can do. You know what happened to him, don't you? I said, what happened? I just wanted her to tell it because I already knew. He drowned. I said, oh my. He was fishing. My daddy loved to fish. That's all he did. And he was at a dam and he slipped on a rock. And he didn't know how to swim and his boots flooded with water. It pulled him down. I said, oh my goodness. Then we share some of the health issues. She got some of the health issues I have, like with my heart, racing and stuff. She got those. And we talked briefly, but it was very dry conversation. I said, can I ask you something? She said, go ahead. In 1967, was this man married to your mother? She said, yes. I said, oh my God, I'm so sorry. She says, it's not your fault. I said, so you're telling me, y'all, I'm just telling my business, but I don't mind. I'm just transparent. Y'all been on this journey with me for a minute. I said, so you're saying that he went outside the family, the relationship? She said, yeah. What's your mama name? I gave her my mama's name. Spell it. I said, okay. She finna go and find out who this lady is. I already knew that for her mom because her mom is still alive. I went back and talked to my first cousin about it. He was trying to make arrangements with his dad. His dad lived in Tennessee, which would be my uncle, and to get him down here. And they said, hey, the uncle told him, let me speak to her. I talked to him on the phone. He tried to explain to me about my dad. Well, now she did say, my sister did say that he was a very talented man, and he was like, your daddy built every single house on that street. So they down there in Selman. They got like a whole street, just nothing but families, houses, and all of them were built by my biological dad. You know what I mean? All of them. All up the street. Houses that he built, and he was a brick mason. All his houses, just most about all of his elaborate houses were brick. And they said, he was, his brother was saying they took advantage of him. He didn't know how to do business deals, and people just had him just actually just doing work, and he wasn't getting nothing. He would always say at the end, all I wanted was a pair of shoes. I couldn't even get myself a pair of shoes. So I was actually sitting in the house. So I did. Okay, so we made arrangements, because but not all the family, but there were quite a few family members reaching out to me. And I later on figured out why. It was like, they wanted to, it's just like they wanted to reconnect with this man that they lost through me because they were devastated. He left early that morning to go to this dam and go fishing. And he, by midnight, he didn't come home and he was just missing. And it took 3 days to find this man. And when they found him, he was floating in the water. His body was decomposed and stuff like that. So all of them was just torn up. And so they was looking for him through me. And I didn't know what I was getting myself into because I'm like, affection. I don't like affection. I mean, I don't know what's wrong. I didn't get it growing up. So it's something foreign to me. I'm like, what is this? So, anyways, they said, we want you, everybody, your aunties are looking for you to come there and visit them. So anyway, so that's how I started. So I did. We went down there and everything. It took us a long time to get down there in that part of the country. Good Lord. And so we get there and stuff like that. I'm running late. It was supposed to be at 1. I didn't get there to 3 because I was like, trying to get myself ready, having some type of things going on in my head. It was slowing me down. It was hard. A part of me wanted to back out. I realized I can't back out, because I wouldn't want nobody to disappoint me like that, because they had been cooked for us and just went all out their way. And so I finally get through the door, and all of these strangers are standing there. I don't know no one. They said, when I walked through the door, his brother, which is my uncle, which is the cousin's dad, was giving me a strange look, a look of doubt, a look of suspicion. The look was like, mm-mm, you ain't none of us, you ain't none of ours. So he was looking at me like that, and everybody was just quiet. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I must have made a mistake and walked into the wrong house. So I get in there and everything, and he was looking like, that ain't none of one of ours. I don't know who this great big old woman is, but she ain't none of ours. But anyways, they're tall. My dad was a very tall lady, tall man, I'm sorry. And his daughters were very tall women. You know what I mean? They're like standing 5'11" and 12. I'm 5'8", 5'9", myself, so they were towering a little bit taller than I am. So I passed that inspection, you know what I mean? But and he was just looking at me crazy. So I had to go in there. They had all of them had their phones out. They wanted to hear my testimonies, and just like I was telling y'all how I went on this journey looking for this man, I had to tell them that and everything, and I boohoo cried and everything. Tears was just streamed down my eyes and everything, and then they started warming up to me. As I began to tell them my story and stuff, and so they everything got quiet. They said, we want you to know that your father was one of the best builders, contractors, masons here in the city of Selma. And I was like, oh wow. And this house you're in now, this is your father's work. And I was like, wow. And so we went down the street and they showed me all the different houses that he had built. And one of the houses down at the end down there was the actual house he built for his mom, which his mom was my grandmother and his dad was my grandfather. And they said this is one of the first houses he built. I said, what? This looked like, craftsmanship right here. This is the first. So I went in there and everything with the aunt in there. We laughed, we talked. Um, the aunts were not doing too much laughing. They was kind of looking skeptic because they're like older generations. I don't know how much they believe in trust in DNA. Y'all know what I'm saying? So because they said they told me said we never heard anything about you. We didn't know you were out there. Is what one of the aunts said. So I said okay. I said yeah. I said well here I am. That DNA test don't lie. And they kept telling me that I looked like him. You know what I mean? So it got very emotional. So they cooked, so we ate. They had all kinds of food, barbecue this, barbecue that. They really had went out their way. I couldn't eat the food, and one of the women was looking at me crazy, like, you mean to tell me we done cooked all this food and you ain't eating it? But I just couldn't. I didn't have an appetite. And so they showed me the field, said this is where your grandfather plowed up and had goats and cows down in that valley down there. He grew all kind of vegetables and stuff. If we had a raise you, you'd have been out there picking all of the vegetables and all of this and all of that. He had fruit and peach orchards and fig things. And I said, oh wow, I love to garden myself. So this is where I get the skills from. And so we just laughed, we talked, we took pictures and stuff like that. Then I went back up to the other house over there. And I said, okay, let me go. Wait a sec. You can't leave until you go back to say goodbye to Auntie Lola. You can't just leave like that. I said, I ain't finna go back and bother that lady. I'm finna go. So the son goes back in the house and then comes back out the door. And so Auntie Lola said, you just gonna leave and not say bye? Oh, my heart dropped. I said, I'm so sorry. I just didn't think that they cared. You know what I mean? And just them being so nice began to irritate me. I'm like, now this starting to get cheesy. Now wait, you back off of me now. I don't like all this affection. Hope y'all ain't listening to me right now. I don't like that. That was my first experience with a lot of affection, and it did not feel cool. So it's important that you raise your children with all of this love and affection when they're young, so it won't be like something that is foreign to them as they get older. So, anyways, because I'm not fixing to get soft and mushy around here. Look, I go in there and I say, "Hey, Auntie." Ah, don't come in here with all that smooth talk. We just all start laughing. I said, "Oh, I'm so sorry." I said, "I didn't want to just to worry you." And she said, "Come on now, you know you ain't worrying me." Oh, we sat there, we took pictures, and y'all know what this lady. Now they said that my dad and her were besties. They were like the best brothers and sisters, and she just fell apart, and she has never been herself since she lost her brother. Okay. When I came in there to take a picture with her, she picked up my dreadlocks and put them on her head. She put my dreadlocks on her head, y'all. I wanted to cry. We took pictures and she wanted to hold my life. I told her, I said, listen, Auntie, I'm going to send my dreadlocks, one of my dreadlocks to you to keep. I was expecting for her to say, girl, I want that one of your dreadlocks. She said, uh-huh. Yep. And I said to myself, I said, wow, I didn't realize that living for myself is also living for what they see in their brother. Y'all see what I mean by that? As I live, he lives. Even though he still got some, he had another outside child too. I'm not the only one. He had two outside children, and so I got a chance to look at the man. And when I looked at that man, good y'all, that man. Let me tell you, kind of like what he looks like. I can't come up with quite a star that he looks like, but he looks like a ladies' man. And so I put his picture in AI because I wanted to see. I wish so bad I could do this right now. Just put the video up and let y'all see him. But they said he stood 6'4", which he's not tall as my son. My son turned out to be 6'6", but he was 6'4", tall, slender guy, and he looked like the type of man that would get a lot of women. I said, okay, now I see how come this man got some outside children. And it's probably more than that. But that's the story of him. That's the story of this man. I want to upload his picture real quick. Um, this is what I'm gonna do. Oh, I can't put that picture up there. There's a picture on CapCut, but you got to pay CapCut in order to put the video up there, and it will show his three-dimensional face and everything. Y'all want me to go ahead and put his picture up right quick while we still running this live stream? Then I can come back. Or y'all want to just wait? Press 1 if y'all want me to load this man picture. You're welcome, Ariana. Maybe this story can touch someone else. Somebody else may be looking for family. Go to ancestry.com. Go to Ancestry. Okay, Anasa, give me a minute. What I'm going to do, I'm going to see if this is even possible. It's going to kind of freeze up the live stream, but don't worry, okay? I'm going to do this. Hang on a minute. Okay, I can't get that to work. That will end my live stream. See, I don't know how to do. Okay, I'm trying to see how to do it. How can I go and put his photo on here while running a live stream? I don't know how to do that. It would be good if YouTube will allow us to upload pictures while we're live streaming, but they won't let you do that. I'm still trying to see if there's a way to do something like that, and it's not. Yeah, they won't let me do. Okay, I got a microphone. I have this. I have something recording. Show live video. Oh, I know what I could have did. I could have put it on the thumbnail. Hmm. That's what I should have did. I should have put it on my live. Okay, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna start up a whole new live with his picture on there. Okay, so I'm gonna leave this live stream. Hey, Johnny Rivers, how you doing? Hey, Yolanda Lucky, how you doing? Okay, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna end this live stream, and I'm gonna come back on another live stream and have his picture as the actual thumbnail. Okay, so y'all follow me to the next video. Okay, bye bye.